All right. Hear me out. Today is Monday, August the 24th, 2026. This is So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. And this is the podcast. If this is your first time coming, I sure do appreciate you for coming by. Somehow you heard about it. And you're here now. I really hope you get something out of it. For those of you that have been rocking with me since the beginning, man, it ain't it ain't nothing but love. Cause this has been one hell of a journey. So it's been a minute since I recorded. As you know, I don't like I don't like putting stuff out there if it doesn't have substance, or I haven't really applied it so that I can speak to it. So the last episode was with my brother, and he talked about being able to realize how he was in his own way and the things he had to do. And what you don't know is that came from a lot of conversations between him and I, where we talked about life, and we just got each other's perspective on what was going on, and one of us had to be the ones to do it. Not only that, at the same time, my mom has begun a new journey, and she's beginning to speak, and people are listening. So I say that to say, sometimes when God moves, he moves in real time. What do I mean by that? I had this phrase stuck in my head: real time, in real time, and I really couldn't figure out what God was trying to tell me and what that meant. And in that time where this word came to me, I had to be shown what it meant. Like, I had to get hands-on training on what in real time means when it comes to God. And I can only give this testimony because it's how I learned about it. It's how I was able to understand what was going on. And then at the same time, realize what's supposed to happen next. So what I mean by that, about 2 months ago, I decided to kind of change my lifestyle and get back into, taking care of my health, losing some weight and things like that. And in that, a lot of humility had to happen. And in that humility, I, I basically begged for help. Now, what do I mean by begging is, some of you may know or may not know, my wife is a professional bikini bodybuilder, and she has a coach, trainer that has done an amazing job in transformation. Not only that, she has shown, from what I understand, she does it out of humility, and that's something that she loves. She's very quiet about it. So I challenged myself with being humble and telling her I need help. And every chance I got, I would beg her to help me, because what I knew before just wasn't working. I used to be able to get in the gym and get myself together in a matter of weeks, and it was no problem. But the age I was, my body couldn't handle it. On top of that, I'm stressing out about my vehicle For what? I don't know. Maybe it was vanity. I have no idea why I was stressed out. I was really stressed out about something being wrong with my car. And this was at the time where my brother was supposed to be coming for my birthday to celebrate me. And in the celebration, the mission that was supposed to be accomplished was to see what should happen next. And it was more about him than it was me. So in this time of worry or stressing, while I've begged for help, while I've tuned into a new routine of trying something different every time I want to make a change or make an adjustment in my life, the most recent ones, I said, no matter what I do, I'm going to get up, I'm going to say the same prayer, and I'm going to do the same thing consecutively without fail. One of the hardest things for me to do is just get up. So I said, I'm going to get up and I'm going to listen to the word or messages and see what happens next. So I listened to a lot of Dr. Miles Monroe, Charles C. Bronner, and I kind of just faded to black a little bit about letting the world know what was going on in my life. Because this message, this lesson, it was personal to me. So I had to make sure that if I was going to share this, I had went through the whole process of start, middle, and end, and come up with a conclusion so that I could give a good report. And I did. I did get a good report. But in there, man, the only way I can put it is God slapped the shit out of me real hard and immediately got my attention. And even to get my attention, I still was in disbelief of what was happening. I had got T-boned on my way to work while I was stressing about something going wrong with my car and just hoping don't nothing go wrong. Because a little bit of me, I did want to show off to my brother, you know. It was some electric shit that I just thought was so cool. And as I'm stressing, I'm listening to a message about don't worry, God's got it figured out by Dr. Miles Monroe. And in the middle of that message, I get T-boned. Lady runs a red light, T-bones me. Fucks up my whole day. But I had a sense of calm about me that kind of didn't let me get angry. But it just had me looking in another way, like looking at things another way. Like, okay, so this is different. All right, let me see if I don't respond the way I normally would, what's gonna happen. And that was the biggest fight that I had was fighting my own understanding of what was going on. And I realized that in the message, right before I got hit, he was saying how worry and stress is a blocker, or it blocks blessings because it forces you to take your eyes off of God, right? So that happened. Then something happened at my job where I didn't get a promotion that I wanted, that I thought I was promised and due. Thought I had went through the proper channels of starting all over again to be there, and got disappointed real bad. But then everything started to shift because I was in a state of disbelief where I couldn't believe that these things were happening right in front of my face, and like I was seeing them happen. And I wasn't surprised by anything. I was just in awe of how everything started to play out. And at that moment, I had got the word in real time. Like I'm seeing things happening in real time. Like my vision was so clear that I was not confused on what was happening. So I kind of started to lock in a little bit more. And in doing so, the messages that got beat into my head were about persistence, patience, not focusing on someone else's accomplishments, and realizing that delay is not denial, but it's God working behind the scenes and preparing something for you. But you just gotta be still and pay attention. So I ended up quickly getting a new car, got 2 job offers within a week. Stressed out about that again because, things have to happen in order for your employment to happen. And long story short, found out I was stressed out about nothing. Ended up getting a job, and then my whole life changed. I had a new car, I had a new job, I had a new way of thinking, and I was locked in. I had lost a lot of weight. I was getting back in shape. I started feeling good. I started feeling confident again in just the new person I was becoming, but I still couldn't understand what it meant by real time. So my mother calls me one day and she's talking about challenging me to speak in tongues, and I told her that's not something I really do. But if you can come back to me and tell me in the Bible where that's a thing that you can just do on command, I'd love to hear it. So I didn't hear from her for a while. I started my new job, and then immediately, because I just had this new vision, I was able to speak things into existence because I'm in a leadership role, and people just believed it. So then my mother calls me, and we had this conversation about it, and she tells me about how much clarity she got and how, she couldn't do nothing but tell me how much she appreciates our conversations because it forces her to go seek knowledge. And it forces me too, because I was on another mission. But I say that to say, my brother ended up getting some good news. My daughter called me, and we had great dialogue. It was just like a transition. It was like a new day. And then it started to click, like what in real time meant. So, in real time means happening immediately as an event occurs without any noticeable delay, which means it's happening right then and there. Now, God's perspective of real time is basically understood through a primary Greek word, or words, two Greek words that are used um, to basically describe what real time means in Scripture. So there's two forms of it, and the Greek words are chronos and kairos. And what's funny about that is I heard this message before from Dr. Charles C. Bronner, and he was talking about God's timing and how God moves in his own time. So basically, chronos is basically a sequential clock-based way of taking time or acknowledging time, but basically it's human time, it's man-made time, it's man's understanding of what time is. Kairos is the divine purpose driven appointed time, which means that everything happens for a reason. It's beyond your understanding, right? And the crazy thing about it is because God is outside of time. Like there is no timeline for how he operates. I heard the other day where they talked about how God or Jesus, somebody was questioning, was Jesus God? And Jesus spoke and he said, and I lifted my hand and I created. And when he said that, he lifted the other arm and said, I also created. Now, the perspective of what he created happened immediately. It happened in real time. And he spoke on it. So because he can say that, he knows the beginning and the end, Alpha and the Omega, which means that time is relative to the creator. So if God created time, it's only relative to what he created it for. For man, our time is based upon our own understanding. And because we operate on our own understanding, we miss when God is operating in our lives in real time. That's why the saying of when you let go, you let God, and you begin to see his work. You know, the thing about God's work is it happens behind the scenes. It happens when, you know, you're not acknowledging it because you can't see it. You're not believing that things are happening because it's not moving, right? Instead, you're leaning on your own understanding. Like myself, I felt like I should have had this job in a certain amount of time. I felt like I had more time with certain situations. I felt like I understood what was going on and I was operating on my own understanding. And then, like I say, he slapped the shit out of me and I had to pay attention. And the crazy thing about it is, it's almost like I was being chastised and like a child. Like he had to shake me so hard that I had to sit there and realize who was in control. And you gain the understanding through discernment because you ain't got no choice but to pay attention. Because now your eyes are open to what's happening in real time and you've given up control of the situation and realize that the reason why you don't understand what's happening is because you haven't gone through it yet. And I think a lot of times we try and prevent things from happening that aren't even going to happen. And because we can manifest, and it says that the tongue has so much power, it can speak life and death into a situation, that sometimes we are the creators of our own demise. And the moment that God starts to move and you can see it in real time, it's time to pay attention. Because something is being said, something is being presented, and there's a lesson to be learned. Now, I've been taking all this into account with my life, with my job, personal, friends, finances, health, all this. And what I'm learning is I don't know shit. I don't know nothing. The one thing I do know is that when I realize when God is moving in real time, I have to ask what my assignment is. Because that is the moment that I'm going to get the most clarity and understanding. And the crazy thing about it is the way it comes to you is in a return conversation, a return interaction, a moment where you have the ability to prove that you can move a certain way because of God and give him the glory at the same time. So I'll leave you with this. I learned all these lessons while getting back to myself. And when I say get back to myself, is sometimes we forget. We forget who God made us to be. And we try and create a version of ourselves that we feel comfortable with. Whatever that may look like. Mentally, physically, spiritually, all that. So after I got my shit together, I wasn't really paying attention to how the world saw me. But then I got put into a position where I had to pay attention to how people saw me. I got back into leadership. I was in a position where I was in front of a lot of important people real fast. And I couldn't bring that old version of myself into that because that didn't work anymore. And as I started to understand that, God's working in his own timing, I'm not really paying attention to how the world sees me. But the moment I had to pay attention, I didn't even recognize who I was. What do I mean by that? I had took an updated professional headshot, and when I saw it, I couldn't even believe that that was me. Like genuinely, I was in shock. Like, who the fuck is that? So, because I was in disbelief, I had to take a real time, just quick selfie, and I put them side by side, and I was like, fuck, that's me. I still didn't believe it. I thought I was tripping. I don't even think I was smoking at the time. But anyways, I went to sleep with that on my brain. Woke up the next day. I go in, I go use the restroom, washing my hands, and I look in the mirror, and I was like, that's who you are. That's what God's been working on. He's been preparing a better version of you. That's what I said to myself. And at that moment, that's when I realized that my life was about to change forever. So I say that to say, sometimes, because time is relevant to the Creator, when it's happening in real time, when you see God working in your life, that's the time that you need to lock in. Like, really, whatever you got going on, whatever decision you're about to make, any hesitation that you have, and things start just falling into place, that's called alignment. And when you start falling into alignment, it opens up the gateway for him to do what he's supposed to do, because he been working in the background on you. He just been waiting on you to see it. And the moment you see it, you have a brief moment of disbelief, because it's something that happened or something you see in yourself that you never saw before. And that's when you know that in real time, transformation reveals itself in a version of you that's a better version than you were before. Have you ever had a moment where you realize, like, I am doing what I'm supposed to do in life? Have you helped somebody, and somebody came to you with a seed that you planted in them that was meant to grow inside of them so they can bring it back to you and give you the word, give you the fruit of your seed that you never tasted? And then when you get it, it's so good that you want more and more and more. That's how God works. That's how real time works. Just because you plant a seed doesn't mean it's not working. Doesn't mean that what God has put into you isn't going to happen. It might not be time because it's not your time. But when it happens in real time, your life is about to change. This has been So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. This is the podcast. I hope you got something out of it. You know, I gotta say it. I gotta say it. My new job, people are amazed that my name is Thunder. And when I tell you, I say, I'm a Native American of this country, and in the most professional way. There ain't a damn thing you can do about it. But what I really say is, yes, I am a member of the Menominee Indian tribe of Wisconsin, and I am a real Native American. I have an ID card, and this is what we look like. So if you want to be a part of this podcast, you got something to say, you got something to share. I'd love to hear about how God worked in your life in real time. The moment you had clarity, the moment you were able to look in the mirror and realize that those post-it notes that you have on there with words of affirmation have finally bore the fruit of what's been planted inside of you, and you've tilled the soil because it's fertile, it's the season. I mean, damn, I want to hear it. I really do, because I believe that the world needs to hear more good news. And the last commandment that Jesus gave his disciples was to love one another as I have loved you, and spread the gospel. And the gospel is the good word. The good word is all I need is 10 minutes of your best. So if you want to get on, hit me up, follow me, send me a message on Instagram, whatever the case may be. But it's definitely something out there that's for you, and it's only going to come to you in God's timing. And when it does, be ready, because it's real. It's real timing. Until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.